Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Today we're talking about Starfleet Academy, this particular episode, Life of the Stars. We see, first of all, a character we thought was going to be a regular in Starfleet Academy, Sylvia Tilly, and it seems her character has changed a bit, perhaps more matured, but it seems like they've redefined her in some pretty important ways. When we first discovered her as a cadet on Star Trek Discovery, she was an engineering cadet, and her position on the bridge was basically engineering related. So for her to be teaching theater by now seems to be a little bit out of character. However, minor consideration when you think about how the entire show came out. What Tilly was there to do really was to attempt to provide a way for the students to deal with their post-traumatic stress resulting from the tragedy aboard the USS Miyazaki back in episode 6. Now, evidently, they picked Tilly for this because she'd been through a number of traumatic events herself, not the least of which was traveling into the future, losing everybody that she'd ever known, and trying to find her way in a new universe with a crew first, and then breaking off from them as one of the early instructors of the academy. And that was even before they moved it back to San Francisco. So when this show begins, this episode begins, she's been working in the Beta Quadrant with third-year students. And while they don't really explain how she met Captain Aki, who would have started after she did, they seem to know each other. She probably isn't really a theater teacher either. But while she plays a major role in this episode, Tilly sits mostly apart from Terima and Sam, where the episode is centered. And in doing so, the better part of this, I believe, is the Sam-centered part. It also explains why the Doctor has always behaved so differently toward her, and it's beginning to be explained just why. And it goes back to an episode in Season 3 of Star Trek Voyager, where the holographic Doctor creates his own family. Unfortunately, due to whatever technical gobbledygook they put in the script at the time, the daughter that he creates dies at an early age, and even though 800 years or so have passed, the Doctor still remembers it as if it were yesterday. And he doesn't really want to expose himself to the same kind of pain again, because while he evidently is eternal, he has seen everybody that he's ever known prior to this grow old and die. So the episode says a lot about the Doctor, and it frames it all in a play that Sam herself selected that Tilly decided to take and run with, Our Town. Our Town starts in darkness. It ends in darkness. It's one of those bare bones types of theater. It has a stage manager who's also the omniscient narrator, and it talks about 3 stages of life, how we deal with that. The episode is written very nicely with that framework in mind, in that it explains to the Doctor and also to Terima what it means to be in a group of people that care about each other, and that life requires you to take each day, the good and the bad, and cherish it, because one day it will all end. While more attention is paid to the Doctor and Sam and Terima, it's a problem that all the cadets share, and having to deal with the trauma that they suffered, and near the end of the episode where they all decide that the play is the way to work their way through it, it works out story-wise. Now, the fact that it all happened in 2 weeks, and that seems to be a little short of time, in my opinion, to just say, they're all cured now, go back to work. Tilly then goes back into the Beta Quadrant, and I guess for an hour-long television show, it's not so bad. I've read that Tilly is being phased in. She's only in the 1 episode this season, but will be in a bit more next season and perhaps a semi-regular by season 3. Apparently, the reason she was not made a main character was that she was a main character in Discovery, and the producers wanted to avoid Starfleet Academy being essentially Discovery Part 2. Jet Reno and Admiral Vance were only semi-regulars in Discovery, so I guess it's okay with them. Anyway, it's interesting, Jaden had a cold in this and had to go away. I presume that he would not have any post-traumatic stress anyway, being a Klingon, because, all kinds of killing and maiming would be fairly natural to his people. So they gave him a cold and put him to bed, and it made the rest of the episode work. Anyway, my opinion, the show had a great deal of heart. I think that we can put this one in one of the top categories of their efforts here. That's what I think about this. I'd like to know what you think about it. You can put it down in the comments below. I will read as many of them as I can and respond to as many as I can. But also remember, I'll be back on Tuesday, another review of Farscape, and then on Thursday, I'll be back with Professor O on Talking Movies with Professor O. That's on Thursday. So we hope that you will join us. And until then, don't go far.